Welcome to Skagi. This peninsula is one of Iceland's hidden gems, an isolated, forgotten place where it really feels like time has stopped. And in an age where waterfalls are often crowded with photographers waiting for their turn, Skagi offers a rare kind of peaceful atmosphere. And as I recently explored this area, let me show you what it's like, what you can discover here, and why about 90% of tourists never make it to this part of Iceland. So, first of all, where exactly can you find Skagi? Well, if you look at the map of North Iceland, then you will see that Skagi Peninsula is right here, just west of the more popular Troll Peninsula. And you can also see that Iceland's ring road is basically passing right below Skagi's mountains. And I'll be actually starting from this spot, Tálmvarmahlíð, which is likely a place that you will pass by no matter which direction you are coming from. And for your reference, so you can follow along, I'll be starting here, then driving to town Sauðarkrókur, and then west across the mountains, and then up and around the peninsula. On our way to Skagi from Tálmvarmahlíð, we'll find our first stop, Glaumbær Farm and Museum. Here you can glimpse into the past and see how Icelanders lived centuries ago. Some of these buildings that you can see actually date back to the 18th century. And they are all beautifully preserved, offering a real sense of Iceland's history. Not far from the museum, we find another historical site, Reynistaðarkirkja, built in 1868. It is a place that you won't find in many guides, so exploring it with no one else around was definitely a treat. The church was open, and while I don't usually care much for churches if they are in town, there is something very captivating about visiting these ancient buildings in remote areas. Behind the church lies another historic structure, the remains of an old barn that burned down in the early 19th century. To my surprise, this site was also open, allowing me to admire its remarkable 18th century timber construction. But now back to the present as we continue driving north, and that's where you'll find the town Sauðarkrókur, which is the one that I mentioned earlier. And that's basically a great place to, restock on snacks or maybe quickly jump into one of the local restaurants. And from there, before we head west across the mountains, we'll do a quick stop right here, just outside of the town. Right, so this is a pretty cool spot for a quick break. There's the parking lot is right over there, but I found a way that's gets me a little bit closer. But you can only get here in the summer, otherwise you just have to leave your car in the parking lot there. And this is where the river enters the sea. And there is this black, long sand beach that goes all the way to town Sauðarkrókur. You can also take a short walk there if you wanted to. But I think it's just nice to check out the bridge. And there's some nice views from here. From Sauðarkrókur, we drive west over a mountain pass, reaching the other side of the peninsula. Tucked away in a valley, you'll spot an interesting structure, a sheep herding ring. But trust me here when I say that you will really need a drone here to fully appreciate its circular design, because as you can see from above, this is where it really stands out. As we continue driving north, as soon as the road changes from tarmac to gravel, you can truly start feeling the remoteness. It's just you, farmland, some horses, sheep, and beautiful ocean views by your side. And as I drove further north, something unexpected caught my eye.
It's funny because I didn't even know it was there. I think it wasn't on Google Maps even. I just saw it from the road and just looked like there's a water falling down.
This small waterfall by the road is a beautiful reminder that some of the most memorable moments on any adventure are the ones that you simply don't plan for.
This is a pretty nice find. I'll of course make sure to add it to my guide.
And our next destination looms on the horizon. Kálfsharmarvík Cove. This area was once a home to around 100 people until the 1940s, which is also when the White Lighthouse was built. Surrounding the lighthouse are the ruins of the old buildings and some striking basalt rock formations, some of the most impressive of its kind that you will find in Iceland.
When I saw it on the photo online, I didn't think too much of it honestly, but in person it looks pretty damn cool.
As we drive further north, the landscape becomes even more expansive. It's really just you, an empty gravel road and scattered farms that make you wonder about the lives of the people in such a remote place.
Alright, so there is a pretty cool viewpoint. And I found out that you can actually see Westfjords in the distance if the weather is good, which today it isn't, it is all in clouds, but right over there across the sea there is a region of Westfjords.
Having passed the most northernmost point, we come to our next destination, Ketubjörg Cliffs. From the road they don't look like much, but once you get closer to the edge, the view opens up to reveal the stunning coastal scenery.
Right, so you know it's windy when the waterfalls are running in the opposite direction.
Just a short drive away, there is another viewpoint with a different perspective of Ketubjörg.
Okay, I think that I'm convinced that I can recommend this place, and let me show you why.
As I continued driving south, daylight was fading fast, but at least I still managed to find a few scenic viewpoints overlooking the Skagafjörður fjord, with Drangi Island in the distance, some abandoned buildings, and unexpectedly an iceberg that had drifted all the way from Greenland and ended up right here by this farm. The final spot that caught my eye right before it got completely dark was this beautiful beach. In my opinion, absolutely perfect place for a picnic, but I'll just have to save that for the next time. Overall, I kind of understand why Skagi is often being overlooked. It is a bit of a detour and it doesn't have this high concentration of sites that other parts of Iceland offer. But if you are like me and you love remote places with no traffic, where you can really feel like you are exploring the edge of the world, then Skagi is definitely worth considering. And that is especially if you are spending more time on the island, or let's say you just prefer a slower paced travel. But there is actually one more place in Skagi which I unfortunately didn't have time to visit on this trip. There is a spot at the end of the road that goes along the southern east coast of the peninsula. I have been there many times before and in my opinion it is one of the coolest places in Skagi. And like all the locations mentioned in this video, you can find this spot in my guide, basically with all the other places and all kinds of information that you might need for your trip. And with that, thanks for watching, enjoy Skagi and I'll see you in the next one.